Hey guys, how's it going? Andrew here, Enough Said Cards on Wednesday evening. Just wanted to make a video tonight and show you three Babe Ruth cards from my collection. I've shown these three cards before, but never all together, and so figured I would just make a video and show them all. And let's get right into it. The first card is a 1921 E121 American Caramel Babe Ruth. This is a SGC 3. And the E121 set actually is two different series. The first is called the Series of 80, which was released in 1921, and this card is from that set. There was a second series of 120 that was released in 1922, and there's three different Babe Ruth cards from that set. One with him holding a bird, one that's like a photo montage card, and a third one where he's holding a ball. But this image here was only in the Series of 80 from 1921. And there's actually three variations of this card. There's this one with no quotation marks around Babe. There's another one that looks just like this but has quotation marks around the Babe. And then a third one that says George Ruth. That's very rare. The combined pop report on the George Ruth card is 12 total cards. This one, without the quotations, combined pop report of SGC and PSA is 40 examples of this one, and there's 71 that have the quotes around the Babe. I don't think that there's any real price difference with or without the quotation marks. I don't think it really matters. This one is a little bit more difficult, but it's not really something that people pay more for. But anyhow, I really like this card mainly because it shows Babe in a Red Sox uniform. Although it says New York Americans on the bottom there. He obviously had been on the Yankees for a couple of years. And I don't know why they used a 6-year-old photo on this card. But this same image was also used in some 1917 cards. The E135 Collins McCarthy card and the Boston Store cards also use the same picture. And this card is in pretty good shape. It has nice bold image, good contrast. There's definitely some toning. The corners are definitely worn, and that the top right quadrant there has some creases. I'm not sure if this is going to show up on the video, but there's a crease kind of to the right of his shoulder and then up in the corner there also. But overall, I think it presents pretty well. I'm real happy with this card. It's one of my favorite cards in my collection. And there's the back. American Caramel Company, Lancaster and York, Pennsylvania. So it's a 1921 E121 Series of 80 Babe Ruth. Next up, this is a 1921 Exhibits card of Babe Ruth. This is a PSA 2.5. I got this one at the National last year. Exhibits first made cards in 1921. This is the first set, and there are actually some awesome cards in this set. Some really great photography and awesome images and poses, and a lot of cards of Hall of Famers. It's a really great set. And Exhibits actually made cards at least through the 60s, maybe into the 70s, I'm not sure. But these were distributed at like amusement parks and arcades, and you would put a penny into a machine and it would distribute a card to you. 1 penny per card. And these are all blank backs. This one actually has a tiny bit of scuffing, like paper loss right up there. I don't know if you can see that, but it doesn't really interfere with the card to me. And like the first one, some of these kind of have a washed out look to them. This one I thought had really nice contrast and nice bold image. I think this is a really cool pose of the Babe also. I think it's the only card of his where they show him fielding. And there's just some cool little details. I think that glove is really neat. And if you can see on his pants there, it looks like they had been ripped and sewn back up. Um, you can see his cleats. He's got his belt buckle turned around to the side there, and sleeves cut off. Just think it's a really cool looking card. So that's the 1921 Exhibits Babe Ruth card. And there's a total population of 165 of these, SGC and PSA combined. And next up is my most recent Ruth acquisition. This is a 1921 to 23 National Caramel E220 Ruth card. I've read about this set that some people think it actually was 1922 to 1923, not that it wasn't released in 21. And that's based on, I guess, some of the players in the set and the teams that they were shown on. Some people did some research and figured that they think it's from 22. But total population on this card is 42. This is a pretty tough card. And the E220 set is notorious for the cards being in really bad shape, and they're almost always miscut and off center. And this one is not in great shape, but actually the centering on this one is better than you see in a lot of them. And I had looked at a bunch of these, a lot of PSA and SGC ones for years, and I just didn't see the right one. And then I found this one at a show, and although it obviously has some major condition issues, creases through the center of the card, the corners, the centering is not great. Although for this set, it's not terrible. I liked that the image, like the other two Ruth cards, was pretty bold and nice contrast, a nice clear image. Babe with his follow through there on the swing, and you can see the American flag there in the background. Just think it's pretty awesome. And this same image was also used in a 1925 Exhibit Champions card, which is a pretty tough exhibit issue. Just think it's a pretty neat pose there. So I was happy to pick up this one. And there's some other Ruth cards that I would love to get at some point. Next up, and I've been looking for this for a while, I'd love to get an E253 Oxford confectionery card. That's another really tough one to find at a reasonable price, for a card that looks halfway decent. You can find them, beat to hell sometimes, but trying to hold out for, one that has decent eye appeal. Also a 1923 Maple Crispet card I would like to get, and of course the 1933 Goudies and the Sport Kings card. Would love to pick those up at some point. But this is it for now, so appreciate you guys watching, and I will catch up with you soon. Take care. Bye.